Welcome to Curious Conversations with Tully and Sarah.
We sit down and chat with business owners, entrepreneurs, and some of the best conversation starters.
This is a podcast about real life lessons and people doing cool shit.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Curious Conversations.
We've got a very special guest.
Oh my goodness. We do today. We have Rolla. She is sitting down with us for our episode, and I'm hoping that she's going to be as quiet as she was when she was sitting on the floor because she was so quiet.
We'll soon see. If not, producer Leash will take her.
Yeah. Oh, there she goes. That was her saying hi.
Yes.
She is grabbing the microphone, but that's okay. I'm just going to put the dummy in her mouth. But it is another week of Curious Conversations, and yes, we do have a special guest. Rolla is on until she
Welcome.
starts making noise.
Welcome, Rolla. And you are now 7 months old.
7 months, I swear, time just goes so quick, and I can't believe she's 7 months. It's crazy.
How are you going with it? I know how you're going. I know how you're going with it. How are you going with it?
I am, to be completely honest with you, the last probably 3 weeks has been really hard. I find when I first had Rolla, it was very easy. I feel like newborns are quite easy. I don't know, just learning to juggle everything. It was quite fun. But now I feel like it's getting quite hard just juggling everything and balance. And I feel like I'm being pulled in 1,000 directions from everyone. And that's not anyone's fault. It's my fault. So I had a therapist session with your therapist. You had a therapy session. She's like, I think you should have my therapy session this week. I was like, yeah, maybe I should. There's also tiredness.
That's skimming over the details a little bit.
Well, no, to be fair, she has been an amazing sleeper ever since she was born. She slept all through the night. I never really someone asked me a couple of months ago, how many sleepless nights have you had? I said, to be completely honest with you, I've had none. Like, she sleeps, except for when she wants her bottle. Obviously, she wakes up. But she's such a good sleeper. And then I think about a month ago, I didn't really believe in the regression because I found she didn't have one at 4 months. So I was like, what regression?
You had a superstar
an angel,
baby.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's easy. And then about a month ago is when she started crying for 2 to 3 hours a night. And there was one night where she cried from probably midnight to 5 a.m. And it was so frustrating. And I understand. I actually feel for mums that do suffer from sleep deprivation because it's fucked. You just feel so tired. And there's a point there where and I feel really bad, but there was a point there where you get so frustrated at her because she's constantly crying, you can't work it out, that you just get angry. And I was like, oh, it's just so fucking annoying. Why don't you just be quiet? And then I'm like, oh my God, she's a baby. She could be feeling sick. She can't communicate with me. So it's really hard when they're not sleeping. So that kind of was the start of where I was having a little mentee bee.
You had a couple. And at the end of that week, I was just like, you know what? How about you have a session? You're like, nah. Then you're like,
I was like, you pay for it. It's yours.
I was like, yeah, but I'm like, me investing in you, your mental health is an investment for me.
Yeah. So I did have a therapy session, and we went to an event last night and we were talking about someone else. And my thing is, I just have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And I've never been very good. With some people I have, but I've never been very good at setting boundaries because I'm always wanting to help people. I always want to help people and better their life, and although I know that's silly, but not in a people pleasing way, but I've just never been able to set boundaries, especially with my family. So the theme of that session with Solomon was I need to learn to set boundaries.
Have you been able to do it?
I haven't, yes, a little bit, but I haven't been in a situation again where something has happened where I'm about to fucking freak out. But I know how to now. And he said to me, he's like, Tully, you've got to realize that you're always, I can't remember if he said always, I can't remember, but he's like, you're always going to disappoint someone in a way. And the example was Sarah messaged me, and I'm like, this is just one example. Sarah messaged me to do something and it was urgent from your end. And I was like, fuck, I'm sitting at the table. I'm trying to feed my daughter breakfast. It's 8 a.m. I want to be present with her. I want to feed her breakfast. But then on the other hand, I've got you messaging to do something. And again, this is not your fault. It's my fault. I put myself in these situations work-wise or all those things. And you're like, you need to do this immediately. And I'm like, fuck, I've got Sarah telling me she wants me to do something immediately. I'm trying to feed Roller, who I'm trying to be present with and be a mum. But if I don't do it, I'm scared I'm going to disappoint you and then you'll get pissed off. So I'm like, fuck, I can't. And then I was a bit angry. I'm like, fuck, why can't I just cherish being alone? So, and again, it's my fault. I should have set a boundary. So he was like, just say to Sarah, like, yeah, I understand you want that done now, but I'm just feeding Roller. I'm trying to be present. I'll get it done in the next hour. And your brain will understand. You probably will pissed off initially.
Instead, I got the passive aggressive.
No, I just said, okay.
Yeah.
I just said, okay, because I was like, if I say anything else, it's going to end up in a fight. So I was like, I didn't know what else to say.
We haven't fought in a long time.
No, but I was like, okay. And then I said to Solomon, I'm like, so by setting a boundary, is that me? Can I just turn my phone on, do not disturb? And he's like, no, don't do that. And I was like, but that's setting a boundary, like turning my phone on, do not disturb. He's like, no, don't do that. Just communicate with whoever it is, like, and just say, hey, like, I understand you need that done now. I'm just doing something with my daughter. I'll get it done in the next hour. And then obviously now I've got to hold myself accountable because I've said to you I'm going to do that by 11 or something. So I learned to set a boundary in that way, and then I'm still learning how to set boundaries with my family sometimes, but that's okay.
Clear communication always wins.
Yeah, and like you said, you know, you're probably most definitely going to disappoint someone, but it's just, it is what it is. And like, I'll get it done. I just can't do it in that time frame. Or so that's where I felt like I was being pulled in 500 directions. And maybe I was like this before I had Roller. I don't know. It probably was. But I expected things to be done immediately. And I'm finding that a little bit difficult at the moment. I feel like everything, and it's even like my sister and Damien and like, everyone wants everything done now, and I'm like, fuck, like it can get really overwhelming. And then I get this feeling of like in my throat, like, and it's my anxiety, I get this feeling in my throat that I'm like choked off and like I can't get air. Yeah, so that's what I've kind of had, and that's where I'm finding the balance a little bit hard. But and I said this before I had Roller, and I fucking swear by it, I just have to be so organized. And
do you know what Solomon would say if I was in that predicament where everyone wants something straight away, sister, partner, all that. He goes, well, that's your fault because you've trained them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's not actually anyone's fault. It's my fault.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like I always try to help people or better their lives.
You've always done it straight away for them, so they expect it straight away.
Yeah, and that's what I said to him. I'm like, it's part my fault. Like, and I'm always like, you know this. I always say this. Even if I think I can't do something, I always say yes because I want to try. But yeah, it's like that's probably the hard part. But she is like getting at a fun age. She's just more active and obviously making more noises.
Yes.
But that's my update. But
you said you wanted to be a bit real because I was like, I don't think anyone really knows how much you've struggled probably the last month. And we were at an event with a friend who's got a 4-month-old last night, and she was like, Tal looks like she's killing it doing all this. I was like, yeah, she's doing so well. And then I was so aware, I was like, yeah, but she did have 2 Menti Bs the other week. And she's like, it was kind of like, oh fuck, did she? Like, thank God.
And then I feel bad because I'm like, fuck, I don't want other mums looking at me. And that just gave me a reality check because I was like, fuck, I actually need to talk about this more because yes, I do look like I think I'm doing well. There are struggles.
You're doing so well.
But I don't want mums to feel deflated or I don't know what the right word is, but I don't want them to feel like they're doing a shit job because I
there's
look like
something wrong with their kid because it won't sleep all through the night.
Yeah, because it looks like I'm doing all these things. And like it's hard. Like I had to get my mum to stay down like the last a week ago just for a couple of nights because I needed help. And sometimes I don't like asking my mum for help because she lives in the country. But my mum was fucking stoked. Like she had the best 2 days ever. And I was like, oh. And then I had this guilt about like my dad being at home by himself. Like it's just like, ugh, it's like never ending. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I have to like look out for me, Roller, and our family.
But also your mum wouldn't say yes unless she wanted to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And if she was worried about your dad, she'll be like, sorry, I can't.
Yeah. So that was like just hard, just trying to not please other people, but just looking out for other people always. But yeah, so that was my week. But yeah, I felt bad for Cara last night because I was like, oh no, don't. Like,
I think you're both doing an amazing job, to be honest.
I think any mum's doing an amazing job, and we all have different struggles and different balances and different juggles. It's just some of us are probably more vocal than others. And like I said, I feel bad that I'm not.
God bless you.
I feel bad that I'm not, because I do have a platform that I share a lot of my life, and I'm like, fuck, I probably should have shared that a little bit more. But then I also want to keep things private as well, which is ridiculous coming from someone who has a profile on social media. Like, I hate when people say that. They're like, social media influencers, and they're like, oh, I try to keep things private, but then they share absolutely everything. But yeah, that's my update. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. I am so tired.
She was having a nap when we walked in, wasn't she, Rolla?
Don't tell people that.
She's like,
no,
yeah.
she said no.
Yes, she
Your
was.
godmother wasn't, was she? No, I'm just tired. We've had a few things on this week. You leave early now because you get to, and I.
Do you know how good that is? I've got an excuse. Like, I'm not a massive, like, I like go to events and stuff like that to show to support for friends or brands or people that like I like, but I always am the first one to leave.
And then when you were leaving last night, our friend was like, oh, are you going with Tull? And I looked at her and these puppy eyes, and I was like, oh, nah.
You did want to leave though, didn't you?
She was like, thank God.
Yeah, no, I actually did have a sore back last night. I've got like, my body is just in ruins at the moment. But
so I'm tired. My social battery, and we're going out to dinner tonight. We're going
but
out
that's
to dinner
casual.
tomorrow night.
That's at someone's house.
Yeah. I'm tired. I'm good. We've had some interesting conversations. We had a dinner at a friend's house on Wednesday, and there was quite a few interesting conversations. One
I think I left.
One you were privy to when they were talking about friendship breakups, and especially like best friend breakups.
Yeah, I was there then.
And in my head, I was like, fuck. Like, I wonder what's going through Tully's head when these two girlfriends of ours are talking about their falling out with their best friends and all their experiences. And I was like, oh, God, Tully and I don't act like that to one another, and I don't think we ever would. I was just like, wow, I wonder what's going through Tull's head in that situation.
I was just thinking, how were you guys friends with someone like that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, that was an interesting topic. It's like, you know, her girlfriend was her bridesmaid and her ride or die, and then
not just her bridesmaid, maid of honor.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But similar to what we spoke about with Kate Forster, they were work friends, and she's like, I think we trauma bonded.
Yeah. I remember her saying that.
And then I'm like, oh my God, Tully and I work together. Are we trauma bonded?
Yeah, but to be fair, we didn't start off working together.
Yeah, that's
working
true.
together progressed when I was like, yes. When I was like, do you want to work for Tully Lou? Do you want to be part of Tully Lou? But yeah, I think it is a trauma bond, especially like what I can say her name, Patrice was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually one of the advice questions this week is a friendship question. Yeah.
We're very good at that.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
And then you left and we got on the topic of dating and relationships. And this is where Patrice is like, I could be a matchmaker. I'm like, you could. You were in recruitment. I think you'd be very good at it. But we were talking about they're both married and in happy relationships. And I'm like, what's the secret to you guys of a happy relationship? And because I've got another friend who's talking about breaking up with his partner, and I'm just like, it's so interesting listening to everyone's perspective, especially as a single girl. And I was like, to them, because they were suggesting all these friends for me to go on dates with. And I'm like, you know me, I'll go on a date. If you think someone is a nice guy, I'll go on a date with them. And the amount of people out there we were talking about that just get to a point and settle, I was like, I'm really happy with, Rolla's agreeing.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with my life, how it is. Not that you might have different, you might be like you're blocking someone, but I'm really content and I'm not just going to go settle with someone. And it was just really interesting having conversations from 3 different perspectives about relationships, what you look for in a relationship. Like one of our girlfriends was like talking so specifically about what she wanted in a relationship. She's like, looks has nothing to do with it. She's like, I had 2 guys on the go at the same time. One was really handsome, really attractive. One was not, but they were both saying, I'll take you out for dinner, but only one was booking the restaurant.
Yeah, and it is like actions, all that, like there's nothing hotter when someone, like a guy, is organising, because in our life we're very much that person.
And That's
Yeah.
all I want.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to the girls.
Yeah.
I feel like I do a lot for everyone else, and that's what I just want someone to do something for me.
There's nothing more I find like hot, sexy when a guy is actually showing initiative and like setting up the first date. Like, this is where we're going. Meet you at 7. It's like, oh my God, thank God, because I'm always that person.
Yeah.
I'm always an organizer. She wants to grab the microphone. Which is like hot. What would you say are your non-negotiables in a relationship?
Ambition.
Yep.
Really strong family values.
I think I might have to hand her off.
We said Auntie Leash might have to come in and take Roller. Oh, look how happy she is. Ambition, family values, emotional awareness is a really big one for me as well. And like I always say, I need to sexually be attracted to the person.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's that. Interesting topics, and it sparked my curiosity for something that I want to do with this.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
So now that we've had a little life update in regards to us, obviously want to go through with what's on your algorithm this week on TikTok and Instagram, all the news.
Sticking with dating theme, do you know who Brianna Lapalio is?
Yeah, so like I've seen her on TikTok and I've read about this fucking NDA contract money thing, but I don't actually know anything about it.
AKA Brianna Chicken Fry.
Yes, I don't know much about it, but I know you're going to fill me in.
So she has a podcast. She's got a couple of podcasts.
Sorry, go back. Why is she famous?
She's got a couple of podcasts.
Oh, that's why.
Quite big on Barstool Sports.
So she's not like an influencer, or she was an influencer.
Yeah, well, she's she's huge.
Okay.
And she started dating Zach Bryan, the country singer, about a year and a bit ago. And they've recently broken up. It turns out that he was quite emotionally abusive in their relationship. And his team wanted her to sign an NDA contract for over $12 million.
At the start of the relationship or at the end?
At the breakup.
Okay.
And she's like, she did a podcast with her podcast BFFs with Dave Portnoy, and I think the other kid's name's Josh, some famous TikToker. And she goes, I was tossing and turning. She's like, $12 million. She's like, I come from nothing. She's like, that's a lot of money. And she was asking advice from Dave Portnoy along the way every day. And she goes, then it got to a point where she was like, no, you can't buy my fucking silence.
Wow.
And so she came out, didn't do a tell-all, but painted a very clear picture of how this man treated her and more than likely treated his exes that would have signed NDAs.
Wow. So I know Dave Portnoy, is that his last name?
Yeah.
He's a very smart man. And I think that's like kudos to her because that's amazing that she did come out with that. But
all these other women that are now talking about their emotionally abusive relationships and not getting starting a conversation.
Yeah, she's starting conversations. She's starting like a big like community. But do you think also on the other side of that, from like a business point of view, Dave Portnoy knew that there was dollar signs with her doing a tell-all podcast?
Nah.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
No.
Interesting. I would have thought he like would be a bit like that.
Do you think that?
I think it's amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
I think
100%
in the long
agree.
run, her brand and her profile from doing it has grown, but she didn't have to tell her story.
No, absolutely not. No. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to go have a look on TikTok and stuff because, like I said, I did see it come up my podcast, my algorithm, and I was like, "That's crazy."
She turned down. Like, one story is she was at the Golden Globes, had this dress on, posted these pictures, and he was writing her messages saying, "Get that off your Instagram. No partner of mine's going to wear something like that." But then on his Instagram stories, posts a picture of her and says, "How lucky am I?"
Oh my God, he is psycho. I don't listen to any of his music. I'm not a country fan girl, but I knew who he was.
Yeah.
We'll have to insert a photo or something because
he was batting. We'll insert a photo of her as well because he was batting.
she is really pretty. Yeah. Well, that is bloody interesting. Now, we haven't been on the podcast together since Donald Trump came into since the US election, really.
Yep.
So obviously Donald Trump is now president of the United States.
Well, like I said to our friend Dave the Medium, he called me the other day and he is a very vocal Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done some energy on his latest episode of what's to come in the next few months, and he still really focuses on America. And like I said to Dave, well, he's not in power yet, and there's been so many attempts on his life. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if someone tries to get him before January when the inauguration happens again.
Yeah. And how long is it in for? 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I messaged one of our friends who lives in the US, and she struggles at this time of the year. I'm like, hey, not because of the US election, but I was like, hey, just checking in. Like, I know you struggle at this time of the year. How are you? And then she wrote back just saying, it's been a really rough week, like with the Trump thing. I'm like really sad and stuff. So it's obviously taking a toll on a lot of females in the US. We'll never ever know that feeling because we obviously are in Australia. But there is also this movement that has been on TikTok as well that I've got hit on my algorithm. I didn't really know much about it. It's called the 4B movement.
How did you come across this?
It just came up on my TikTok feed.
But what did someone say?
No, it was just like, so a girl was going to the gym.
Yeah.
So she's going to the gym now and cut her hair short because she doesn't want to be, not the gym part, but she cut her hair short because she's like, doesn't want to be attractive to the male. Yeah, for the next 4 years. So a lot of women are like making themselves not
she's
attractive.
Become a lesbian for the next 4 years.
She just doesn't want, I don't know, she's just like not taking pride in her appearance and stuff. So that's kind of what the movement is. And I want to look more into it because apparently it does originate from South Korea.
And I had a conversation with one of our girlfriends that went to South Korea last week, and she was saying about this movement. I was like, what is this? And she's like, there's such a misogynistic life in South Korea. She said that a lot of women, like these feminist women, are coming out and being like, we're never getting married, we're going to work, and just completely off men.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's a huge movement in South Korea. I was like, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I didn't know either until I started seeing it post the Donald Trump thing. And it's basically where women swear off men post-Trump, which is like the United States. So that is like how women are feeling about Trump being in. And do you think with Trump being in power, if he does, whatever happens, what do you think the effect will be for Australians? Because there's been a lot of like high profile people be very vocal about the Trump thing. Abby Chatfield, whatever her name is one of them. I'm like sitting there and I understand like the girl, like I understand, but I don't understand how it's going to affect Australians.
Well, I would suggest that they think they're empathetic.
Yeah, well, 100%.
Again, David the Median told me this, and I said, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that fact. So when Roe versus Wade was overturned in the federal...
That's the abortion.
Supreme Court in America, that then abortion became a right of a state level. So Trump coming in, he's not going to ban all abortion, David was saying.
Oh.
He was like, it's still up to the states to decide.
I didn't know that.
So like a blue state like California and New York will still allow...
Well, they haven't banned it anyway.
Exactly. It's their rules. But that's what... And then I saw another court case, but I think it was a state level in like Iowa or something. They were having the court case for their state whether to allow it or not. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. It is.
For Australia, what I think will happen, I don't think it on that much of a level, but I think of, from a business point of view, what Donald Trump wants to do is increase manufacturing in America.
Which will help deflate inflation.
No.
Okay. No, I'm asking.
So he wants to. A lot of Americans rely on cheap labor, cheap imports from China and Mexico, and so what he's going to do, and that's why he increased last time he was in power the tariffs from China into the US. What he wants to do is increase manufacturing. So, like a brand like us, if we're in America, let's manufacture in LA, so we're not importing it from another country. But to be able to export that to other countries and get our manufacturing from China to America, they need to decrease the strength of the US dollar because it's too strong. So in that way, it's could be bad for China. They're going to be competing for imports, exports, and manufacturing, but we will soon see.
Also, it will take a fucking while.
Yeah.
It's not like machinery is expensive. We all know that China has the state-of-the-art machinery for a lot of things.
How much can you do in 4 years?
I know. So it's like, I get that, but I'm like, you can't really, I don't think a country like America can compete with a country like China. And for a lot of things.
To be fair, I don't know. I feel like I know more about American politics than Australian, which is really bad.
Yeah, see, I'm not a massive like politics person, and I'm just like, that's why I asked, like, will it help like inflation? Because I did read an article. It wasn't on TikTok. I read an article like on my feed. I don't know if it was like Financial Review or something like that. And it was like, by Donald Trump doing all this, it's going to help decrease inflation. That's why I asked. I was like, is that in America, or is it going to decrease inflation in Australia?
Well, I think America has got the powerhouse, right? So
yeah.
It ripples around the
world.
So
it does affect Australia in a way, which is like kind of sucks. Because like we're our own country and we're fucking relying on another country to help us be better. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's the economies, right?
It's ridiculous. Anyway, I just want to ask a question. What has been like a high of this week for you? Because we have been so busy. I haven't really had time to like sit down and actually.
To be fair, we haven't really seen each other much this week.
Is that a high?
I saw you Wednesday night at dinner.
I saw you Monday. We were here all day Monday.
I saw you Wednesday night at dinner and I was like, oh my God. I hugged you, kissed you. Hey, how are you? And our friend Isabella was like, what are you doing? Didn't you just see her? I was like, no, like I haven't seen her in a couple of days, haven't spoken to her.
Yeah, well, we worked all day Monday on a show that we're producing and then you left at 2. So I didn't really talk to you that
good
day.
Point. I did leave at 2 because I went for a skin cancer checkup.
Well,
this is a timely reminder, everyone, go get your skin checked.
Yeah, I do need to do that.
Because I'm a very moly person and I got the tick. And what do we say after the tick every year, Tal?
No. What? I don't know.
I can sunbake now.
No.
Why not?
We're not promoting sunbaking. We're not promoting sunbaking.
Just a nice tan.
No, we just use sunscreen every time. But that was not a high of the week that she didn't see me.
No, that's definitely not a high. High would actually be getting the tick because I've had a couple of moles off. So that was like a huge relief. It was a huge relief.
Oh, there's nothing it's actually so scary.
Oh, I get health anxiety.
Yeah,
I have to go for a blood test and I've been putting it off for like a year.
A blood test?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the easiest thing to do.
No, because you have to go get the referral and then you have to, for girls, I only learnt this in the last year, you should either do it on your first day of your period or your 21st day of your cycle to be able to test your hormones properly.
Oh, you're testing hormones.
Well, you test it with blood tests. You want everything tested, right? High would be, do you know what? I've really loved connecting with all our friends this week. Wednesday night with dinner with girls. Last night we had Talia and Snez's launch. Tonight we're having dinner with our best girlfriends. That really fills my cup up. But on a personal level, I've been working so much this week and on, I think it was Wednesday, I was like, Talish, our business partner, I was like, when do you need all of this by? And she's like, tomorrow morning. And I did it. I managed to do it. And you were like, in our group text, you were like, well done, Piscini.
You need a margarita or two just to celebrate. You definitely do. You have to have one tonight.
And my low is just.
You're tired.
I'm tired. Late nights do that to me.
Yeah, and also I find it's that time of the year. It's like it's getting towards the end of the year, you know, like Christmas
Social
is close.
life amps up.
Yeah, so it is like it's that time of the year I find. And the weather's just been so weird.
What's
it's 32 tomorrow and it's been like it's just weird.
What's your high and low?
My high this week is
you've got a new BFF.
Yeah. My pram, my new pram.
Tal's new best friend's Kate.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm like really enjoying her conversations and she sent me a really nice message about being a mum and I was like, thank you so much. I needed that because I've been having mentee bees.
No, I thoroughly, I think it's good.
Yeah. So, what else? What was I going to say? My high this week is.
Your new pram.
Yeah, we got a new pram. They upgraded our pram. I'm so grateful. So that was nice. Roller's got a new fresh pram. That would be a high. Also, another high is I've been really, really productive this week. Just because I haven't been driving to and from here, I found my days have been super productive. So same with you. It's kind of an accomplishment. Like you feel like productive. I'm like ahead of the game for like Tully Lou at the moment. So, I feel organized, and I feel like that's a nice high.
Yeah.
Yeah. A low, I fucked my neck and my shoulder. I don't know what I've done, but my shoulder's killing me, and it's really hard because I'm trying to pick up roller all the time, and it's really, really hurting. That is my low. So I feel like I'm going to go to Chemist Warehouse after and get Voltaren and maybe some deep heat just to like relieve the tension because it is so sore. But I foam rolled this morning for like 20 minutes and I forgot how good foam rolling is for your body. I haven't done it for ages.
Even stretching.
Oh, like on my hips, my bum, my thighs, my quads. I was like, I actually feel so much more released.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, I need to do that. I know I always do this. Like, same with massages. You get a massage and you're like, I'm going to do that once a month and you never do. I'm like, no, I need to do that like a few times a week.
Before we get into the advice question, I thought of a question yesterday. I was editing from home and I had the movie Valentine's Day on in the background, right?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. I don't think I've watched the full Valentine's Day.
And what happens, Ashton Kutcher proposes to his girlfriend. This is one character thing. And then she calls it off and gets a ring back. And I was like,
Oh, yes, I have seen that movie.
that was a really nice, really big ring. What would you do? Would you keep that ring and propose to your next partner?
No, I'd sell it.
But then it loses its value straight away, no? It's kind of like a car.
But what if you don't meet a partner?
But it's kind of like a car.
I mean, it depends how much cash you've got.
Do you know what I mean? Like a car. If you go to Tiffany's and you buy a ring there for $20,000, is it kind of like as soon as you leave, then it's worth $15,000?
I don't know. It depends. Like if that guy saved up all his pennies for that ring and like, because some men do save up the pennies for the ring and I'd sell it. But if you like have disposable income and that was just like petty cash, then I'd keep it.
What if Damien proposed to you with a ring that he had had for another
I'd be
woman?
fucking furious.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, ew.
What if he didn't tell you?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, true.
So
I bet you there's so many boys out there that have done that.
100%.
Yeah.
But like if I knew, I'd be like, ew, if he didn't tell me, I don't know. So it doesn't matter.
Ignorance is bliss, as we say.
Absolutely. So advice question of the week this week, I've got it for Sarah, or we can both do it. But it's funny that you were talking about friendship breakups before because it's quite a friendship breaky, uppy question. We had a few relationship questions. So I was like, guys, come on. We need like a friendship question or something else. Anyway, advice question of the week. Hi, Tully and Sarah. I have a friend who has completely cut contact with me. I have tried numerous times to call or message her and she ignores me every time. I'm trying to rack my brain if I've done something wrong. Then out of the blue, she'll message me and say she misses me or she would love to catch up for dinner. We start writing back and forth, organize a date the day before she cancels, and then there's radio silence for another month or months. I do really love her and I want to be friends with her, but I'm sick of trying. How many times is too many times to mend a friendship?
Wow, I think this goes back to what we were saying before about Solomon, right? Clear communication. If how she acts really hurts you, when you see her, tell her that. Like, it makes me feel like shit when I message you 5-10 times.
Like, have I done something? She
Ask
doesn't know if
her.
she's done something.
Ask her.
Yeah.
Clear communication is the biggest peace of mind in anything. If you think you've pissed someone off, ask the question.
What did I do?
Not even what did I do? Hey, our friendship seems a little bit different at the moment. You used to always write back. Is something going on? Are you okay?
Yeah.
I've had a friendship breakdown like similar, and I would message this person. And it would really get to me that they weren't writing back because we were so, so close. And then it just got to the point I was like,
yeah, I've had something similar too, and you get to a point you're like, oh.
I still miss that person.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
They were one of my best friends. But I'm like, obviously our friendship's changed and that's it.
People outgrow people. We talk about that all the time.
And it's like a friendship breakup. It hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
And you might never get closure, which is okay.
Yeah, I think just clear communication, ask what's going on. And then at least if you know if you have done something or something, you'd be like, oh, communicate with that. But then you just don't have to worry about why she's not writing back anymore.
And even if she doesn't answer the question, or it's a her problem, not a you problem.
And then I'd take a step back.
Yep.
That's what I would do anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Good
many
one.
friendship questions, isn't it? Anyway, that's enough from me today.
And me. Do you
Yeah.
like? I look like a licorice all sorts.
She
'Cause
does.
You tell me.
Because our set is like so white. I was like, you need to wear colour.
So I looked.
She always wears black.
I looked for the most colourful thing in
But
my
I'm
wardrobe.
wearing, oh my God, I can't because my skirt, but
And
I'm
I was
wearing
like,
brown.
you know what?
She does look like a licorice all sort.
Do, don't I?
Licorice all sorts, Allen's.
Yeah.
Allen's, do you want to sponsor us?
Yeah.
Because Sarah literally is a meme.
I've got plenty of these colourful
It's a
Ralph
meme.
polos.
Dead. Anyway, we hope you have a beautiful week.
Enjoy. Tell your friends you love them.
Enjoy the sunshine tomorrow, Saturday. Oh, but this episode comes out next week, so that's not relevant to any of you, but I'm going to enjoy the sunshine tomorrow.
Love you.
Love you. Bye. Ciao.